Hello everyone, Keith TCG here. Today I'm going to be making a deck breakdown on Sanji, who's one of the new OP12 leaders and one that I've been having a lot of fun with. I've been grinding out the deck since late OP11 in the sim, and so I think I have enough knowledge to just go over the deck and show some gameplay for anyone that's trying to learn the deck. This is one of the harder decks in the game in my opinion, so I figured a video would be pretty helpful for anyone who wants to figure out some play lines and see someone who knows a tiny bit better about how to play the deck. So I'll be only going over some interesting tech cards and the main core cards, but I don't really want to talk too much about the card choices. I do have a written guide in the description if you're interested in the intricacies of the tech and core choices in a deeper level. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into the video. So Blue-Purple Sanji is a 4-life 5000 power leader with 2 leader abilities. One is an activate main, once per turn Dawn -1, activate up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type event card from your hand with an original cost of 3 or less. And then, when attacking, if the number of Dawn cards on your field is equal to or less than the number on your opponent's field, add up to 1 Dawn card from your Dawn deck and rest it. So these are 2 different leader abilities and you don't have to use one to use the other, but they do synergize really well because what that means is that you can activate any free cost or lower Straw Hat event for free. You can Dawn -1 and then immediately get the Dawn back, and the events that you can use this on are these two searchers, which is Let's Crash This Wedding and Luffy's the Man Who Will Be King of Pirates. And then you also have Concussor. And then your actual free cost events are Culverin and Boof Burst. Boof Burst being your main event in my opinion. This is your core card where if your leader is multicolored, choose one, return up to 1 of your opponent's characters of a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand, and if you have 6 or less cards in your hand, draw 2 cards. So you'll mainly use this to draw 2 cards, and this is your main engine in my opinion, where you can Dawn -1, play Boof Burst, draw 2 cards, which is a +1 to your hand size overall, and then you can just cycle a lot of cards and just draw into all of your pieces. Just cycle through your deck really quickly with this card for free. And then you also do run a lot of counter events, so you are very tanky with Gum Gum Giant, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with, Concussor, which is both a cycle and counter, as well as Gum Gum Rain. Gum Gum Rain being really good because you do run 34 non-counter cards because you're playing a lot of events, and Sanji is non-counter. You also run Judgment of Hell. This is more of a tech choice. This is only ran in the deck because Zoro is in the meta, and also Rayleigh. It's really good in those 2 matchups, but if they weren't in the meta, you can cut this for something else. I've seen other people use Snake Dance in this slot, or just like another utility character, or maybe another utility event. So this is kind of a flex spot, right? I really like Judgment of Hell and I think it comes in really clutch, but I wouldn't run this if I wasn't running Rosinante. Rosinante also being another tech spot. You run a lot of events, so you will get the on-play effect, being able to just cycle your hand and going net 0 while also developing a body that restands 2 Dawn at the end of every turn is very good for you defensively, since you do rely on your counter events a good amount. Alright, so I'm also going to talk about our main card, the only reason this deck really works, which is Free Cost Sanji. This character gains +1000 power for every 5 events in your trash. So since you run 30 events, that's about like +6, if I'm doing my math correctly. Yeah, you can get +6k maximum, but in most games you're gonna be on +3k, +4k by end game, +7k by mid game. Or did I say +7k? I meant +2k if I did say +7k. So Sanji most of the time will be a 7 or 8k body if you're playing things correctly, and then by the end of the game you can pressure 9k or 10k swings, which is really good. And then the second part of this effect is that if this character would be removed from the field by your opponent's effects, you may return 1 Dawn card to your Dawn deck instead. So this is not once per turn. So if your opponent does double removal or anything of the sort, you can just keep Dawn minusing. There's very little situations where you don't want to Dawn minus. This card is kind of the core of your deck, and the Dawn minus usually isn't super bad for you because your leader ability allows you to re-ramp Dawn. One thing to note is that he is pretty vulnerable early game if you are playing against a deck that rests cards, so sometimes you don't want to play him out too early. Some other cards I want to focus on are removal cards. You do also run a good amount of removal cards in this deck. Culverin, 3000 Worlds, and Red Rock are my choices, but if you're not running Rosinante or 3000 Worlds, you can also run Jozu. Jozu being a really good utility card in this deck because you can play out your Kayas and Puddings, your one cost, Pudding being a searcher and Kaya being your 2k, right? And just bounce it back while also removing something from your opponent's field. The reason why I'm not running Jozu personally is because I think Jozu and Rosinante are like in the same-ish spot, and 3000 Worlds kind of covers most of Jozu's targets already. So 3000 Worlds is also way more searchable. Some other tech cards are Kamazo, which is tech for Rayleigh. This is a flex 2k counter option, so if you're running Jozu, for example, you would run Sora instead, which is this Sora. Yep. So it's just a one cost 2k counter that allows you to draw another card if you're behind on Dawn. Then this Pudding is also a tech spot. I think it's just a good blue tech card. Just very good at punishing your opponent's hand. And it's not a core card, which is why it's only a one of. Then Carne is it's a card that isn't in every single deck list, but I think is really good in this deck. It's a one cost blocker that has 1k counter, which is very uncommon. The 4 or more event cards stipulation you will fulfill by turn 2 or 3 if your starting hand is pretty bad. So this will always be a one cost blocker, and the appeal of one cost blockers is usually that if your opponent wants to deal with him, they usually have to use more than one Dawn. This is a pretty good card in my opinion. Just being able to slip it in during vital turns when you want to defend from lethal leaves your opponent in a very awkward spot, especially if you have things like Rosinante already on board, or Visreju, which is also another blocker. 9 cost 7k body on the field. Again, the 4 or more events thing you will always have. So Reiju is very good early game, especially against decks like Rayleigh. You can just block out swings very easily with Reiju. And I think that's every card in this deck. Again, if you want more detail on the card options, I do have a written guide in the description. I figured I should just be pretty quick about the card explanations because I would rather go to the gameplay sooner. So, alright, against Teach. I think Teach usually likes to go second, so I'll grab second. This is a pretty free matchup usually for Sanji, because you don't really have any on plays and they don't really have any answers for your Sanjis, but in my opinion, Teach is a very skill-based deck. I think a good Teach player can play very well into a lot of their matchups, even their worst ones. So I still don't think you want to drop Sanji on curve, so I will grab this. And the reason why is because they do have Black Hole, and that's their one answer to Sanji, but yeah, so I do want to grab Wedding, and the reason why I'm grabbing Wedding is because I've used one. I saw one getting bottom decked earlier, so those were our 2 last copies, and we can dig for Culverin pretty easily because we have Wedding and Booth Burst. Swing 8, we just take that. Okay, so we will play Wedding. We do get a Culverin. We can't Booth Burst here because we actually have too many cards in our hand. So I'm going to if I play Carne, they just play Doc Q. But if they play Doc Q, actually it's fine because that means they're not playing any of their bigger value pieces. I'm just gonna draw 2. Okay, we dig. I'm gonna actually grab Sanji this time, and then I'm just gonna swing 5 at life. And the reason why I'm swinging 5 instead of 6 is because they usually take the first life anyways. And I don't know, like, I can just swing, like, counter of Concosta. So they swing 5 here. Honestly, should I just block? I could just block this. I'll block. And the reason why I'm blocking is because Dock Q exists. Here we can just 3,000 worlds. We still have too many cards in our hand for Boof Burst, so I will just swing 6. We have very limited amount of 2Ks, so swinging 6 into Teach is actually really good, because they usually only run like 8. Unless they change their lists a lot. They might, because Zoro is a thing now in current meta, but I'm not entirely sure how they play, so yeah. So they have Dock Q. I'm just gonna Concossary this again. And they pass. So I'm going to play Sanji, and then I'm going to Boof Burst to draw 2. I did get Kamazo, but Kamazo is a tiny bit too late. I'm going to play Rosinante because they didn't turn off my on plays, so I'm just gonna go 5. And then I'm gonna pass, and I'm just gonna resand 2. So here they have like kind of a choice, right? They can either play Augur. Okay, they do get Black Hole, so they're gonna Black Hole my Sanji here, which is fine. I think they're gonna Black Hole, swing. They can go 6, 7. Okay, they're gonna go 5. Honestly, I'll take this one. Because we don't have any, like, I didn't want to counter with my Kamazo, so. Okay, they're gonna Black Hole, they're gonna get, or they're gonna Leader Ability, play out Burgess of Kuzan, and then they're probably gonna Black Hole my Sanji. Unless they don't know what my deck does. Which I kinda doubt. Okay, Augur. I'm gonna counter because we have another Kamazo now. Okay, they didn't. That's interesting. So here I am going to play out another Sanji just so I have Rested Dawn, bottom deck their Burgess here. Let's go. Oh, I could have played Kamazo and just board wiped. It's fine. I'm just gonna swing 5, they will fit. It's whatever. I'm gonna go 6 there. I'm going to play Boof Burst straight up and then swing 7 here. If I swing 7, they take that, and then I could just swing a 9 with Rosie. Do I want to swing with Rosinante yet? I think I'm fine with that. Yeah, let's just swing 9 with Rosie. I kind of want to just pressure them. If they, because the thing is, if they swing into Rosinante at all, then they're not gonna play. Okay, they're not gonna play 10 Beard anyways. But I was thinking if they had another Augur, they're gonna KO Rosinante anyways. And if they swing into Rosinante at all, then this Augur is gonna be rested, or they have to attach Dawn, which is fine by me. I don't know. Like I'm just kind of fine with them pressuring my Rosinante, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, they do Black Hole my Sanji, which I think is a bit like 1 turn too late. Because if they Black Hold last turn, they can instead go like 10 Beard into this one. So 5 here, I'm just gonna 2k with Kaya. Let's see if they want to swing with their Augur. I do have plenty of Giants. Okay, they just play out Kuzan. Are they going to play another Augur? Okay, they're going to play another Burgess. So this time I'm going to play out Kamazo. I'm actually going to Giant here because I need to cycle out these cards. I don't have any like actual counter except for Kamazo, and I want to play Kamazo next turn. So the black hole, which is interesting. I'm just gonna go Culverin and then KO that, and then we can go search. I will grab another Sanji. I'm gonna play out the Sanji, but I'm just gonna swing 8 here first. See if they defend it. Nope. Okay. So then I can go 6 and then 7 and then play out Sanji. And then here they're like in a pretty bad spot. They don't have a board. I have 4 bodies that can pressure, so 10 beard would only stop one of them. If they try to swing into my board at all, then I do have 2 giants that I can use and 2 2Ks. So I think I'm in a pretty good spot. They can black hole with Sanji, sure. And then they have 6 more Dawn. So if they swing 11 here, I have just like giant just covers that. Okay, so teach effect. They're gonna swing 5 there. I'm gonna 2K. And then I'm just gonna red rock or teach. Swing. I swing 8 first, I think, right? No, I think I swing 6 first. Yeah, I'll just swing 6. See what they do. Okay. And then we can go another 6. No, let's go 7. So 6, 7, 7, 8. Okay, and they just concede. Yeah, so if you're not trolling, I think Teach is a pretty free matchup. As you can see, they can't really deal with Sanji at all, except for with Black Hole, and I think they were a bit too conservative with their Black Holes there. 10 beard also, you can just immediately red rock, so it's just gone, and you're just so defensive that Teach can't really force you into a bad position, especially if you just keep wiping their board. Burgess also just never sticks, so you can just wipe Burgess from the board for free. So you are in a really good position. You just have answers for every single thing that Teach can do, and Teach only has 1 answer for what you can do. So yeah, as long as you go wide, you're fine against Teach. Okay, this is more of a off meta, I guess. This is a pretty bad hand. I think this is an example of a hand that you don't usually want to keep. It's not the worst. You still have Booth Burst and you have Concussor to cycle, but I would mull this. So yeah, but Caesar Clown, I guess I just ran into the one person playing Caesar Clown on ranked. But well, let's just see how this game goes. So I'm gonna play my Wedding Searcher here. I think I'm gonna grab Luffy's and then he'll be Pirate King, just to kind of aggro mill. I think I want 2Ks more at the top. I think this is I think something like this actually. And then I'm gonna play this card out. I think Caesar plays more mid-rangey. I could be wrong. I don't really know the matchup too well, but I'm gonna grab 3000 Worlds here. And then just return that and pass turn. Just from what I know about Caesar Clown, I think they should have an unfavored matchup towards me. Because they KO 4K, and then they have Monet that minuses 1K, so they KO like 5K bodies. I'll take this. Which means they can't answer my Reijus that well. But they also can't answer my Sanjis at all. But here, this is a pretty bad hand. Yikes. I'll have to cycle my Concussor. Okay. This is also still pretty bad, so I kind of have to cycle another one. I need a draw. This is a problem that you might encounter in Sanji, is just you don't have your good cards. I don't really want to drop Sanji on curve in this matchup, Something to note with removal matchups is that you don't want to drop your Sanji too early, and that's because your opponent can just keep KOing it, and you are forced to go really low on Dawn, which you don't really want to do, so just something to keep in mind. But yeah, so one more and I'll be able to have a 6k Sanji. Okay, they play out Chopper. So we don't have Culverin, and I don't really want to use 3000 Worlds on Chopper, so I'm gonna play Reiju out. I'm just gonna go 7 first, because we're not gonna Dawn Minus to do any effects. I can just attack first and then play out Reiju. Okay, so if they take that one, and then I'll just play out Reiju and pass. Let's see if they might be able to like Otama or something. Okay, they Gum Gum UFO. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this matchup at all, so I'm not entirely sure what the best plays are. But oh, they were about to Dawn ×1 there. Yep, they Monet. And then they're gonna KO my Reiju here. 9k swing. I do also have to take this one, so they have 2 Dawn up. I am going to play out Rosinante, I think. Cycle out some of these dead events. I think Red Rock's a bit dead in this matchup. Okay, we get Culverin, which is good. Let's Culverin this Chopper away. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 Dawn. Alright, 6 event and trash. So let's just go 5k and then play out Sanji. I think 8 Dawn is late game enough where we're fine dropping Sanji. So okay, so they counter, and then let's just play Sanji and then restand 2 Dawn. If they swing big into me again, I can Concusse. Otherwise, I can Hell's Judgment as well. I don't think they're going to split their attacks though, so I think Concusse is good. They're gonna Building Snake my Rosinante, yep. And they're probably gonna play Monet and then bounce it again, is what I'm guessing. Okay, V Pudding. That's fine by me. I'm just gonna Concusse that. Here I am going to peek. I guess a Giant at this point would be good. And then restore it like that. Play you out, get a Boof, nice. I'm gonna Dawn -1 to play Boof Burst to draw 2 cards. And then I can play Kamazel. But I think I play Reiju here, I think, so I'm gonna have a 4k there, or 4 Dawn to play Reiju. So I'm gonna go probably 7-7 or 7-8. I think 7-8 would be good. Okay. In this case then, it's 7-6, which is still fine. Okay, and then play Reiju and pass. Yeah, so my thinking, like my thought process here is I just kind of force them to have that additional like Building Snake, that additional like other piece, so they're using up at least 1 card to remove my things, right? And with removal matchups, something else that I think you should think about is even if your bodies get removed, you kind of want to force them to lose tempo to screw up your body. So okay, so it looks like they're going all in to swing big into the Sanji. So Sanji's at 2k right now, and Caesar's swinging 10. let's see, if we giant, how many events do we have in trash? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 in trash. Okay, so plus 4 would be 6, and then we have 2 2Ks and then a 1K, so we'd have to invest a lot. So I'm fine with just having my Sanji go there. Okay, they're gonna go 7 to life. I will 2K 1K out of this, I think is good. I don't want to giant because I want to save this Culverin just in case, right? But we can play Sanji. Yeah, let's play Sanji here, and then just swing really big with the rest of my Dawn. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I want to leave one Dawn up for giant, and then 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I don't think I want a Dawn minus for anything here, so I'm just gonna go 11 at life. Play out a Sanji and pass. And the reason why I'm doing it like this is because, let's say they play out a blocker, I have Culverin. Let's say they want to remove Sanji, I can just Dawn -1. Let's say they want to pressure, I have Giant plus Kaya, so I think I'm in a pretty safe position here. Yeah, despite them having a lot of cards in hand there. Okay, so they have 2 choppers. Okay, they're gonna go 5. I'll take a 5. No trigger. And then they're gonna go, what, 6? 6, I'll counter of 2. Oh. What? Okay. I think the sim... Ooh, nice. I think I accidentally, clicked a bit too long. So the sim thought I was also clicking on the 0 cost event, which is whatever. Alright, so here we can go 9, which forces out 3 cards from your hand, and a 9 again. So that was mathed out lethal, but yeah, as you can see, I kind of glossed through that last turn, but I started with a Wedding Searcher into a Culverin, and I was able to just double bottom deck their blockers there, and then swing hard. And that's kind of the strength of the Sanji deck, is you just have a really sticky big body, and then you can just remove everything else really easily. So if your opponent's on 0 health, and that's why I pressured really hard the previous turn, is if they're at 0 life, you can just pressure really hard and there's not really much that they can do to defend against it. So we have Sanji versus Enel. I will say that I haven't really faced an Enel in a while now, so I'm not entirely sure how this will go. I'm pretty sure we're favored towards Enel. They don't really have any answers to our bodies, but we'll see. So this, I don't think this is this isn't a bad starting hand, because you have a Searcher, Culverin answers their pretty annoying bodies, and then you do have Sanji, so let's just give this a try. So hopefully we get a boof burst here. Okay, we don't, but we do get Let's Crash This Wedding, which is good. And then you do have to be conscious about how you're stacking the deck. I think this is... I want Concussor more on the top. I think once we get out of early game, 3000 Worlds and Culverin are going to be pretty dead cards, so... And now they usually... Do they still play Shirahoshi, the 2-cost blocker? I don't know, but... Okay, so let's just search, get a Boof Burst. And then we can do... I kind of want Rosinante on top here, so I'll do it like that. Then we can Dawn -1 here, play Boof Burst to draw 2 cards. Enel usually takes their first swing, so I'm actually going to search here. I'm going to get another Boof Burst. So something to note as well is that both of my Culverins are now at the bottom of the deck, and I've seen 2 Sanjis, so... or 3 Sanjis, so there's only 1 more Sanji here. So you do kind of have to think about how you're stacking the deck a bit, and just know which cards are still in circulation and which ones aren't. Okay, so they're gonna play Kuzan. I have to I have to trash one card. Let's see. My win condition. What is my play next turn? My next turn play, I think, is Reiju. I do think. One Sanji? I think one Sanji is enough? Because I kind of want to keep everything else. I'll just trash one Sanji, which is kind of rough. I think Gum Gum Rain was another one that I'm considering, but I don't know. Trashing Sanji there might have been a bad play, now that I think about it. Gum Gum Rain is probably a better choice because they're not really going to attack early. Since they're playing Kuzan, I think they're playing Starve Enel, and Starve Enel means that they're not playing any cards. So, here I'm going to play this. I'm going to grab a 2K. So Luffy is the man who will be Pirate King. And then, do I bottom deck the Kuzan? I don't know. I think I don't really care about Kuzan. So I'll just use Brief Burst to draw 2 cards, swing 5,000 to leader. So they take. I'm going to then play Reiju and pass. Because I have 4 events in my trash. So Reiju is a 7k blocker. It's also a 9 cost. I think their only real answer here is Red Hawk, which they could run. If they do Red Hawk, that means they're not playing any bodies, which I'm pretty fine with, I think. Okay, so this time I am going to actually trash Gum Gum Rain. So now we have 5 events in trash, which is good, because that means when we drop this Sanji, it's going to be a 6k body. Okay, so they decide to just pass there. I think at this point, I will bottom deck one of their Kuzans. So grab another Brief Burst, I think is good. I can then just Dawn -1, play Brief Burst to draw 2 cards again. Swing 5,000 to lead. See how they do this. So they take. So the reason why I keep swinging, even though Enel's like, oh, Enel can heal in 1 life, is because like at 8 Dawn, they usually want to play a Kid or a, I don't know, like a Katakuri. There we go. 8 cost Katakuri. And being at 1 life means that they have to choose whether they want to heal or they want to bottom deck one of our cards. So here I'm just going to play Culverin and get rid of one of the Kuzans, and I'll pass. I just kind of want to slow down their board swarming, I guess. But yeah. So now we have 2 bodies on board as well. If I had the Sanji, if I didn't trash the Sanji, I would have played 2 Sanjis instead of going Culverin. Again, slight misplay there. Bear with me here, I'm not a pro. Yeah, but this is also like for me learning as well. That's why I make these videos, so hopefully you guys are learning as much as I am as well. Okay, so they're gonna play Kuzan and try to bottom deck our Sanji, bottom life our Sanji. We can just Dawn -1 and they don't get the rest of their effect. Okay, they're gonna Hino Bird Zap. We just Dawn -1 again. It's fine going Dawn -2 for Sanji. I think it's always worth it. Because next turn, we're gonna be at 7 Dawn, right? So what we do here is we search, we get, I think Concussor is just better. I wish I could grab this Rosinante, but yeah. Red Rock, I'm saving for later, but let's just peek again. Grab a, I think a Reiju is actually good, because I can play another Reiju and just keep up the pressure. And now my Sanji's a 7k body, right? So just swing 5, gain 1 rest of Dawn. I'm not gonna use my leader effect to Dawn -1 for a for an event. So just swing 7 again. See what they do here. Okay, so they're going to 0 life. Since they're going to 0, I'm kind of tempted to just go 11. They do have 2 Dawn up. I don't know if that's 4. Okay, we just Dawn -1 for this. I don't know. I mean, I think it's just good pressure. It's not... They don't really have too many good punishes, because they kind of have to heal. So we just go 12. Healing takes 9 to 10 Dawn. So yeah, we're kind of just forcing them to have the counter here, which they might not even have. And if they do, see, like, they're down to 3 life. I think they should have countered the 7. I don't know why they didn't counter the 7 there, but yeah. So now they have to heal and also deal with my board somehow, which they can't really do. Right, so, okay. So they're gonna go 12 into 7, so 9, 10, 11, so I don't have the counter, so I just let this go. But my Reiju's still sticking, right? So this turn, pretty easy turn, just red rock here, go 5 here. If they counter, then okay. If they don't counter, then I just go... They only have 2 cards in hand, so I can go 9, and then I can leave 1 Dawn up. And you really want to just keep up the constant pressure here, because now they're forced to heal again. If they do Enel again, I do actually have defense at this point with Gum Gum Giant. Okay, the Yamato. And they don't have any valid targets for Yamato, so... Here, I do want to develop 1 extra body, so I will play out the Sanji, I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna grab a Gum Gum Giant here, and then I am going to go... I don't have anything to Dawn -1. I don't really want to cycle this Concussor. I think I'm fine with that. So I have 7 Dawn that I need for playing Sanji and Reiju out. I'm just gonna go 5. Okay, they counter. So because they counter, they get a free heal here, so I'm not even gonna bother swinging. I'm just gonna play these 2. And I think I'm just gonna pass. I could play out this Karne, but if they have something like a Kuzan, then Karne becomes useless, so... I think... I mean, they already cycled for 3 of their Kuzans, so it might not be a big possibility, but I can just Concussor, so yeah. I'm just gonna block that, because I get a free block. Okay. Block that other one as well. 6 here. I can take 1. I can take 1. They don't really have a punish, is the thing. Like, there's no... I have Concussors, so I'm not scared of a big swing from their Yamato. And usually they want to heal, right? Yeah, so they're going to play their Yamato here. Are they going to swing their Yamato? Okay, they're not. Okay, so... What we can do here, then... Can we close out game? If you go 7... 7, 9? 7, 9, 9? I don't know. Let's just ping a 7 here. See what they do. And then depending on that, we can proceed. So 7, 9. And then if they don't counter, we go 9 again. Okay. Let's see what they get here. Because they could also get like 0 cost event or Bedge, or I don't know if they run any blocker triggers, but I might not have game. Okay, so they do have 0 cost. That's fine. I'm just gonna go Culver in one of these Kuzans, and then I'm gonna go... Should I go 7? I could go 7 to the Kuzan, but I don't think it matters too much. I'm gonna play this Karne. So I can go 7 to their life, I think, and then just leave Freed on up. Play Cotton and then pass. Freed on up. I have Concussor, Gum Gum Giant, 2 Gum Gum Giants even. So yeah, they are forced to heal again. If they don't heal, they just lose next turn. But they could pressure my board, which I'm not too afraid of because my board is 7Ks and I have a blocker. They're gonna play Arc Maxim and they're gonna KO my Cardinal, I guess. Okay, sure. Go 9 at what, Sanji or Reiju? Sanji, so I'm just gonna Giant here. And now he's an 8K, so I just counter it with a 2K here. And then now, like, they're forced to heal. Like, they have to. So, okay, Dawnline's fun again, sure. And I can kind of math this out. So I can go 9 here, but I can also just go like 5. If I go 5 here, they counter, I just go 7, and 7 again. Let's see if they have any triggers. Doesn't seem like they have any big triggers here. They might have, okay. And this is guaranteed lethal. Just going 9 here, but I'm just gonna attach all Dawn, because why not? But yeah, so that's the Enel matchup. I think it's pretty favored. You kind of just have answers to everything. I think my opponent here misplayed a good amount though. Like, just taking that 7K early and allowing me to just swing 12K when you have no defenses is pretty crazy to me. But other than that, they don't really have an answer to your Reijus and your Sanjis, right? So you can kind of just steal games. Even when they Kuzan your puddings and you have to discard cards from hand, you can just trash events. I should have trashed an event instead of this one Sanji here. And then I would have been able to close that game earlier. Is I think my slight misplay, but didn't matter too much in the end. Alright, that'll be it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video and it helped at all, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. This build is, I think, a good starting build for someone trying to play Sanji at this meta, but I will be testing and I might upload some more videos because there's a lot of tech options that you can run. There's a lot of lists that you can run. This list is already a tiny bit outdated from what I'm running right now, for example. So yeah, again, thank you for watching. There's a written guide in the description if you want any more nuanced, detailed explanations about these cards and other lists that you can see. But yeah, for now that'll be all. Thanks again. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.